next week, I'm going to be giving you a full NBA playoff preview. I will tell you who I think is going to win each playoff series round by round. I will unveil who I think will be hosting the Larry O'Brien Trophy in June at the end of the 2026 NBA season. I will also tell you out of the 16 official playoff teams, the top 10 NBA teams that are most under pressure this year to win the NBA title. However, and I've been saying this over the course of the past couple of weeks, I think the NBA needs a tremendous playoff. I think the NBA needs a Nuggets Spurs round two. I think they need an epic Western Conference final with probably Oklahoma City against either Denver or San Antonio. Out east, I think the NBA needs a semifinal where the top four seeds of the Pistons, the Knicks, the Celtics, and the Cavs dupe it out for Eastern Conference supremacy. I think the NBA needs a playoff where stars like Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham if he comes back healthy, Luka Doncic if he comes back healthy. Obviously, the Lakers' big brand with LeBron. You get my point. I think the NBA needs a playoff where their stars, both young and old, are healthy, they're competitive, there's not a lot of blowouts, there's physicality, there's controversy, because the NBA really it started over last offseason post Super Bowl, but it really picked up steam here this season post Super Bowl. When we're done watching football, we all sit down, we start watching the NBA. And what many of my colleagues in the media and me have started to realize is baseball is not only more popular than the NBA now, baseball does a better job than the NBA at this point of marketing its stars. Baseball is a lot better of a product to watch. College basketball has become a better product than the National Basketball Association. And quite frankly, yeah, the NBA's got Victor Wembanyama, who, in my opinion, him and Cade Cunningham are the two stories of the NBA season, but this is why I won't even talk about MVP. The MVP is now a media darling award, and it's going to go to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because he scored 20 plus points all those games, broke Will Chamberlain's record. OKC is going to be the number one seed again. SGA is putting up numbers that are in rarefied air. Back-to-back MVPs. He could be a back-to-back Finals MVP. And the NBA is just seemingly falling in love with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, where Victor Wembanyama may be seen as a unicorn. And I think the NBA is in deep trouble right now. I think that the NBA has become way too three-point reliant. I think the Celtics winning the championship in 2024, while they were the most dominant team in the league that year, that effect has been very bad in the NBA to the point where even more so than Golden State was in their years as a dynasty, teams are just trying to shoot threes. There's no originality to anybody's game. If you can't shoot, you basically don't belong on the floor. And the NBA used to have substance to it. Every team used to play different. That's not the case anymore. And Adam Silver believes that it's just a tanking issue. And that teams like the Wizards and the Kings and the Nets and the Pacers this year without Tyrese Haliburton, they're not even trying. And that's the real reason what's wrong with the NBA. So we're going to implement anti-tanking rules that nobody makes sense of, nobody understands. There's talk about the NBA potentially even getting rid of the NBA draft as a whole. And yeah, Adam Silver, guess what? Teams are tanking because they want to get good college basketball players because it's the best freshman class the NBA draft has had in a long time. Because guess what? Kids are staying in college and they're getting good coaching from the name, image, likeness, NIL program. And for years, your league decided that the G League is better. Let's create a G League Ignite team. Let's have all these guys go to France. And nobody paid attention to college basketball outside of March Madness. And nobody paid attention to the NBA draft because nobody knew who was getting drafted. And now You have a game where if you watch the college basketball part where it's old school, guys are bumping in each other in the post. They're working on repositioning. Michigan, way late in the second half of the national championship game against UConn, had made a grand total of one three-pointer throughout the entire game. Now guys are shooting 50 footers, and you have guys like Luca scoring 600 points a month. But guess what? He is getting hurt because of the stress that's on the body now because you're defending for so long and so much lengthy because everybody is shooting a 3-point shot. And you're going to expand. You're going to add two more teams into the association. Okay, that's great. Bring the Sonics back. Put an NBA team in Vegas. I get it from a money perspective. But the NBA already has bad teams according to you, which every week has bad teams. You know why those teams are bad? It's not because they're in the top pick of the lottery every year. And actually they oftentimes they don't have the top pick every year because you have a lottery system and not a straight the worst team gets the number one pick system like the NFL. But it's not your fault. The Wizards and Kings are often terrible. It's the guys in charge. But guess what? If you gave bad teams better players to select at the top of the draft, I mean, Utah, probably a year away. Ace Bailey's a star. I think they're a year away from competing because they got a star in this year's draft. And they're looking to get another one alongside it because this league has always been a superstar league. And yes, ratings are up, but you moved from cable on TNT to streaming on Prime, but mostly broadcast on NBC. And when you go from cable to broadcast, which broadcast, of course, is anything NBC, ABC, Fox, CBS, you're going to get more viewers because broadcast is available on over the air antenna. It's just that simple. Nobody is buying this bullcrap that the NBA is in a great place because we get great metrics on social media and our ratings are through the roof. No, actually, nobody wants to talk about your game because nobody cares about the All Star game anymore, and nobody cares about tuning on to an NBA game and seeing guys resting for load management and the fact that you have the 65 or 66 game eligibility criteria for awards when players like Cade Cunningham, who you cannot tell the story of this NBA season without, isn't even eligible to win MVP. Think how wrong that is. And you think tanking's the issue? No, I actually think the issue is that during the course of NBA history, there's only been two teams to not be a top three seed and win the NBA championship. And the first round, there might be one or two upsets, but it's very rare that we get an 8 seed upset or a 7 seed upset or a 6 seed upset. Obviously, it happened a couple years ago with the Miami Heat, but they felt like more of an outlier than anything. If I'm you, Adam Silver, I adjust the NBA playoff schedule. I make the first series a 3 game series because if that road team steals the first game, I want to see urgency in the higher seeds' eyes that they might lose because it's possible. Because as we've seen on March Madness, any given night somebody can win one game, but over the course of a 7 game series, it's very hard to pull an upset. I want to see a best of 5 in the semifinals. I want to see every other day. I want to see these guys go out there and competing. I want to see the whistle swallowed. I want to see the mid-range jumper return to the sport I once knew and loved. I used to talk about how great the NBA was because the NBA was the sport of stars. LeBron, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard. I'll go back to Steph Curry, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Shaquille O'Neal, Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton, Kobe Bryant, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, Steve Nash. Yeah, there used to be a lot of stars in the NBA, and we still have them. But Shea Gilgeous-Alexander out west, Victor Wembanyama out west, Nikola Jokic out west, Luka Doncic out west, Anthony Edwards out west, LeBron James out west. Do you see the problem? And even your East star, John Antetokounmpo, always hurt, never available. Joel Embiid, always hurt, never available. Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell. They're fun to watch players, but they're not the markability that the guys are out west. And it's really imbalanced right now, Adam Silver. That's why I deplore you to please, when you do expand, move the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Eastern Conference so we can get a legitimate star, a high flyer that's fun to watch on our television most nights. I implore you to think about a way to stop the 3 point shooting, whether it's moving the 3 point line inside, whether it's trying to experiment with getting rid of the corner three, whether it's making dunks worth 3 points. Listen, baseball made some radical rule changes. Baseball put in an automatic ball strike system with a robot and a pitch clock. Did you ever think baseball would work with a pitch clock? I know I certainly didn't. Maybe it's time for the NBA to see what it would be like without a corner three. I know it may be risky. Let's not take any risks right now. But that's what you need to do to stay relevant. The NBA used to be the league of pop culture and icons and coolness. And now it's just the league of turning off young viewers that cared so much about this sport when we were younger. Now, I'd rather watch a baseball game with the Nationals than watch an NBA game with the Thunder. The NBA State of the Union, folks, is not good. But I'm warning you that it's not all doom and gloom. You have a savior of the league. His name is Victor Wembanyama. He can bring the NBA back to prominence. Just please let the Spurs be a dynasty and don't handicap them with a BS second apron. Because what you have done, Adam Silver, is you've essentially eliminated free agency. You said free agency is bad, even though every summer all we would look forward to is free agency. We remember the 4th of July of 2016 when Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors. It was one of the biggest days in your sports history. Now that team couldn't even be built. Guess what? That rivalry between the Cavs and the Warriors, 4 straight years, I would argue the last great rivalry in the NBA because all the players are buddy-buddy now. Those teams couldn't even have Kevin Love as a third star or Klay Thompson as a third star because of your second apron. Stop handicapping people, Adam Silver, on ways to get better. The Jazz are not an attractive free agency market. The Wizards are not an attractive free agency market. Hell, the Cavs are not an attractive free agency market, and they have to do everything via trade. Trades can be exciting, but they're not as exciting as free agency, and you're matching salaries. It makes it even harder to trade people, and it makes it even harder for those bad teams to get better. So you want less tanking. You want more parity. You want more good teams in the league. You want to stop having 50-point quads every game. You want to stop having multiple stars not playing during national TV primetime games. Look at yourself in the mirror, the NBA and Adam Silver. It's not the player's fault. It's your fault. I hope the NBA has a good playoff. I hope we get banger series out west and out east for that matter. And I think it may restore some of our beatings that we've taken on the NBA over the last couple of months. But I reserve my right to judgment because if these playoffs do not go well, if the Spurs get eliminated in the second round early and OKC gets by easily in the East, and Boston gets by easily in the East, I should say, and OKC gets by easily in the West, and we have a relatively decent marketable finals with the Thunder and Celtics for the Thunder dispatch of the Celtics in 5. Yes, you'll buy a new dynasty in Oklahoma City, but it will be a missed opportunity to showcase the young stars that you have in this league. So this is it. Every sports team goes through a good and bad period. The NBA right now is going through a bad period. What I acknowledge you, Adam Silver, to do in this State of the Union is own the state of your sport, acknowledge it, make some rule changes, bring back the mid range jumper, bring back the physicality, and let's make the NBA watchable again. Not great again, because we're not going to steal it from a certain presidential candidate. We're going to MAWA, make the NBA watchable again. Like that clip from the Brands World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brands World podcast right here on YouTube.